About 5% of human-caused climate change comes from air travel, because planes produce more than just CO2. But shouting, "Hey Americans, stop flying," would be pretty hypocritical since I wrote this story on an airplane. But we don't have to stop flying to learn how our love for travel impacts the environment. In just the last 20 years, we've faced two tragedies, which created two climate experiments with silent skies.
September 11th, the year 2001, a day unlike any other in the long course of American history.
When hijacked planes hit the Twin Towers, air traffic controllers made a previously unthinkable decision: get every single airplane on the ground right now.
Frontline managers went back out into the workforce and said, okay, we got to put these aircraft on the ground. So they were working with the controllers to then tell the pilots, you're going to have to land. You're going to have to pick an airport, get a hold of the company, tell us where you're going to go and where you're going to land.
This is it. This is the only way we can protect our country.
For nearly 3 days in 2001, America's skies had no planes. And for one NASA scientist, that meant that he was looking up at a giant lab in the sky.
And it just sort of occurred to me that, wow, there's no aircraft flying. Let's just have a look and see what's going on. I think it was just some control. I mean, the atmosphere is an uncontrolled scientific laboratory. So if you take away the influence you're looking for, then you add it back in, then you can incrementally see what the impact is.
Now retired from NASA, Patrick Minnis was looking for the impact of airplane contrails on global warming. And it's contrails, not chemtrails. That's a wacky conspiracy theory. Contrails are simply cirrus clouds, water vapor forming around the particles of pollution from jet engines, which by September 13th, he didn't see any.
Yeah, clear as a bell, on the East Coast anyway. In fact, that's one of the, that's where I originally kind of got the idea that contrails are really doing this impact and spreading and turning into cirrus clouds, so they can cause a warming effect also. At night, they cause warming. So you might realize that on a cold winter night, and it's very clear, it gets really cold at night.
He published his confirmation of contrails' role in climate change in 2004, and new research from this year shows contrails' cirrus clouds are 1/3 of aviation's total climate impact, more than CO2, but still less than nitrogen oxides produced by planes. Our other climate experiment came from the pandemic.
The airline industry taking a devastating hit over coronavirus fears.
We stopped flying and driving so much, the world's carbon emissions dropped by 6.4%. Sounds great, right? But researchers say the world would need to cut global emissions by 7.6% per year for the next decade to meet the 2015 Paris Climate Agreement. Reductions on this scale would be even larger than 2020's drop in emissions.
Okay, so the path forward will require some major advances. One aviation expert put it to me like this. He said, imagine you're the Wright brothers and you just finished your first flight on the beach at Kitty Hawk. And then the next day someone says, hey, congratulations, Wright brothers. Now we need you to build an Airbus 380 and fly 500 people from New York to California with Wi-Fi. And they're like, what's Wi-Fi? That's sort of where we're at with making aviation completely green. It is entirely possible. We're just not there yet.